The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town.
Chicago!
And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting live from the beautiful, the famous restaurant, Saranello Ristorante Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. It's been a while since we've been here, so that's why I was a little bit tongue-twisted, but also the great food that they have in store here, and we're certainly going to get an opportunity to sample that. But this is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're streaming live on YouTube Live. We apologize to all of you who's been following us on Facebook Live, on WCPT 820 AM, and of course on YouTube. We've been informing you, including on our website, we've been informing you that we're right back. We're right back here at Saranello's Restaurant, the Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling. We're located on the corner of Milwaukee Avenue and Lake Cook Road. And this is our new digs now. This is our new situation. Before, we were doing Sunday brunch from 11 to 1 on Sunday brunch. We took a break. We're back here now. We're here for lunch. Now, every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., we will be here at Saranello's Restaurant, the Italiano. So we want all of you guys to make notes. Put it on your smartphones, put it on your Androids, put it on all your social media outlets, and then come on down here for lunch. College football Saturday all fall long. So come on down, have some food, have some drinks, have some conversation, enjoy a sports show, and enjoy the environment, the venue of Saranello's Restaurant, the Italiano. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and we're pleased to be joined by, ladies and gentlemen, normally, you may find them on Halsted Street in the city of Chicago. You may even find them in Schaumburg. You may find them in LaGrange. You may even find them in Lincolnshire, Lincolnwood, Skokie, Evanston, Hyde Park, downtown Chicago. But no, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturdays, you're going to find him every week right here at Saranello's Restaurante from 12 to 2 p.m. He is the man on the street. He is Marty-B. What's up, Marty?
Hey, Jerry, it's great to be back here at Saranello's with you and our other colleagues, and we, folks, have got so much planned for you in this calendar year. You're not going to believe it, so don't miss it. Come on out. We want to meet you.
You don't want to miss it. No question about it. And we certainly want to meet you and have a good time here. 2 hours strong. And you can check out college football, whether you're a Big Ten fan, whether you're an ACC fan, whatever the case may be. You can come on out, check out some football, check out one of the greatest, hottest sports talk shows in the city of Chicago and the city limits, the Rewind Sports 60. We're here strong. We got a little bit late because this is our debut. We're back, and we got to kind of like the Bears. We're going to get in some Bears conversation, but kind of like the Bears, you got to shake off the cobwebs, Marty. You got to loosen things and get back into the flow of things. But unlike the Bears, I know we're going to have a tremendous show, and we want you to be a part of it, Marty-B. I got to tell you, it is great to be back here at Saranello's Ristorante Italiano. It's been a while since we've been here, huh?
I know it is, but it just feels like yesterday. These are our home digs. We love this place, and the food is delicious. I echo Jerry's comments. Please come join us. And when you come, especially when we're on break, come over and say hello. We want to meet you.
Certainly do. We certainly do. A lot of parking out here. It's great people. The staff here is fantastic. Chef Michael Brunell, he's doing a great job back there in the kitchen. Our main man, Michael Bonner, Chef Michael Bonner, he is the class act. There's no question about it. We've got a couple things coming up now. Now, again, we're expanding, Marty. We're moving forward, and we're growing. We're getting bigger, and we want our audience, we want all of you to be a part of this growth that we have here. Again, we're streaming on YouTube Live. We'll be doing some Facebook Live, too, as well. But our calendar schedule has really we're starting to take off, Marty. We're on Sundays on WCPT, 8:20 a.m. Every Sunday, WCPT, 8:20 a.m. And we're going to be doing a Bears Sunday Live show. So after every Bear game, or before the Bears play, if they play a Sunday night game, I think they have 3 Sunday night games here. But check out WCPT, our Bears Sunday Live broadcast. We're either going to recap the Bears game or we're going to preview the Bears game. So that's on Sundays from 6 to 7 p.m. Then, of course, the Saturday broadcast. We're starting here, so we'll be here every Saturday from 12 to 2. But we got a great edition, a welcome edition. I don't know, Jason Zinner. We have to say hello to Jason Zinner, our technical director over there, man in the ship. And, of course, Roman, our cameraman, handling opportunities, handling the camera work back there. It's great to have the guys back in the flow of things. But every Tuesday, Marty, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that.
Haven't, Jerry.
But we're starting a new show as well. It's a meet and greet dinner every Tuesday night right here at Saranello's Restaurante in the ballroom area, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. this first Tuesday, September 10th, right here at Saranello's Restaurante Italiano. It's a meet and greet. And who you're going to be meeting? Well, for the first week, it's going to be all season long. You're going to meet the only person outside the defense who was productive for the Chicago Bears. He actually outscored the Bears offense and Mitchell Trubisky. We're proud and pleased to announce that Eddie Pinero, the kicker for your Chicago Bears 2019 football team, will be in the house at Saranello's Restaurante on Tuesday, September 10th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., Marty.
I know, I'm so excited, and Chef Bonner is going to prepare our special guest's favorite meal for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah, it's going to be a buffet style, but Chef Michael Bonner will be in the premises as well. He'll be preparing the meal for Eddie Pinero, and I forget what his favorite meal is, but the idea is all these players that are coming into Saranello's every Tuesday throughout the season, they're going to present us with their favorite dish, and Chef Michael Bonner and his staff will prepare that meal for all of you every Tuesday. Come on out, 6:30, 8:30, buffet style. I got to tell you, though, it's not a free freight. It's $29.95, okay?
What a deal.
It's $29.95, but it is a great deal, Marty.
Oh, absolutely. So come every Tuesday, and by all means, expect the unexpected.
Well, you know what? You're going to expect the unexpected, but you're also going to expect a great time, a great group of people. Hopefully, we'll have some musicians. I wanted to talk with you about that. Hopefully, little Andy, we get an opportunity to have Andy come and perform for some of the customers, the patrons, every Tuesday night to, take care of the entertainment.
Oh, yes, my young grandson, Mr. Andy Cabendall, has performed on our show before. He's a marvelous violist, and he will entertain, and the sounds will be very pleasing.
Very, very pleasing. And again, check out our website. We'll keep you posted every week of who the Bear player will be. Now, we're working with the Bears themselves and the players themselves and their agents, but we're also working with some of the former Bears. Been on the phone with Richard Dent, the MVP, the Colonel of the 85 Super Bowl Chicago Bear champion team. He's interested in coming on out. We'll reach out to wide receiver Dennis McKinnon, who's also interested in joining us as well. We got Pat O'Donnell. He will be the second week. Pat O'Donnell, the kicker for the Chicago Bears, will be here on the 17th of Tuesday. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the hits just keep coming. This is the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles. The man on the street, Marty-B. The hits just keep coming. We want you to be a part of it, and we want you to come on out and just have some fun and root this team on. Now, Marty, we're going to talk about the Bears and the disappointing opening game of the 100th anniversary of the Bears.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and well, it seemed like the Bears forgot it, Marty. Unfortunately, over on the lakefront, we already know the Bears took it. They took it more than on the chin, but they were beat by the Green Bay Packers, those rivals up north, by a final score of 10-3 to drop to their record to 0-1, and it was not pretty to say the least. I can tell you, Marty, you can feel the energy throughout the city and the surrounding suburbs leading up to the Thursday night affair. I mean, there were people all over. They had the Bear jerseys on. They had the Bear hats on. They had the Bears flags flying on their cars. I mean, everybody was amped up and ramped up. The NFL had their game day in Grant Park just to get everything going. There was a watch party. The fan base were out there to support this team. And then Matt Nagy, Mitchell Trubisky, and the offense just laid an egg, Marty. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. It was very disappointing. And I watched the entire game. I didn't want to miss. I switched my business schedule around totally so I could see each and every play. And, yeah, I was disappointed, but I got to give credit to that revamped Packer defense.
Yeah, the Packer defense came to play, and you got to say Matt Nagy and Mitchell Trubisky helped out that defense. They certainly did. They helped them out. And, kudos to the defense. They did as much as they possibly could. They were flying around. They sacked Aaron Rodgers 5 times in that football game. They held them, I think, to minus 7 yards in the first quarter for sure, and not much yardage in the first half of action as far as the running game was concerned for the Green Bay Packers. So the defense, they were a little sluggish. Again, we talk about getting the cobwebs off and, getting the rust off, but they came and showed up and they played and they gave the ball to the offense to say, hey, okay, we've done our work. We've done our job. Get out there and do something for us. And of course,
And on 2 occasions when the Packers absolutely had to make a big play, they did. The reception in the end zone by Graham, and then that unbelievable interception at the very end.
Yeah, well, it was unbelievable because there was no reason for Mitchell Trubisky to throw that ball. And Amos, obviously a former Bear who goes up to Green Bay, he said, I knew the play. He said, when I saw the formation, I looked over the field and I saw where they were lining up, and he said, I knew the play. Now, it didn't help Mitchell Trubisky or the Bears offense when he's just locked in to his receiver, and Steve Young, the great Hall of Famer for the San Francisco 49ers, after during the post game said, hey, you know what? He looked like a high school kid just locked in on his receivers, Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that portion. I forgot to switch over because when Channel 5 ended their coverage, I stayed on for the news because I was kind of excited about seeing the remarks of our Chicago people.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I should have turned on the other.
Well, no, Marty, this is what you got to do. You got to get yourself a man cave, as they say. You got to have yourself multiple television monitors in your man cave so you won't miss a beat. You won't have to turn the channel. You don't have to use the remote. You got to monitor there. 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 They're there for you, and you're like, boom, okay, if you want to hear something, boom, you hit the volume there, you hit the mute, boom, you're right there. You got it all locked in, Marty. Come on now.
And yeah, I like that. I got to modernize. Glenore, did you hear that? Man cave coming up.
Yeah, but Steve Young, he said, hey, Mitchell Trubisky was locked in to his receiver. The Green Bay Packers secondary, safeties, corners, knew exactly where he was going to go. And, of course, Amos said, hey, I knew the play. I just knew to get over there in that coffin corner. And, of course, he came up with the INT to end it all. But I'm yelling at the television monitor as well. And many of the media scribes who were at Soldier Field, and, of course, even the fans were yelling, why are you throwing into the end zone? It was, I think it was a minute 45 left in the game, and the Bears were moving the ball down the field. And they're like, why are you throwing that pass into the end zone? You still have time on the clock. You still have other options on the football field to utilize to get in closer range. And let's just get the touchdown and see what happens there. But Matt Nagy, for whatever reason, called that play. And again, Mitchell Trubisky, not comfortable in his situation, not comfortable in the settings, forced to pass in there, and of course we see the end result. And the secondary for the Green Bay Packers also said, Marty, and I don't know if you heard this, but they were saying, we knew the Bears were tough. We know that they have weapons. Our game plan was to get Mitchell Trubisky to play quarterback. I'm like, what? Our game plan was to get Mitchell Trubisky to play quarterback, because if we get him to play quarterback, he is the weak link on that offense. We knew we had a shot if we made him play quarterback, and that's exactly what the defense did for the Green Bay Packers.
Isn't that commentary interesting? My goodness. Yeah. One thing that worries me, Jerry, just to back up a little bit, whereas the D-back made that interception and said he knew the play. What worries me about us going to Denver, Vic Fangio, he knows a lot of our plays.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Oh, my God. I don't mean to get ahead of ourselves, but we have a lot to talk about with the just recent game. But, oh, my gosh, that does worry me.
Yeah, it worries a lot of Bear fans as well, and hopefully the coaching staff are worried. We'll get a chance to talk more about the Chicago Bears, their unfortunate defeat at the hands of the Green Bay Packers by a score of 10-3. They dropped their first one, but as Marty-B said, and we'll talk more about it on the other side of this break here, they're going to Denver to play in that atmosphere and, of course, meet up with Vic Fangio, their former defensive coordinator, and it's not going to be an easy trek by any means, no question about it. Folks, if you're wondering where we are once again at Saranello's Restaurante Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling. Come on out. We're here every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Come on out, have some lunch. The menu is great. We are great, and we want you to be a part of this greatness. Keep it locked in. You're watching on YouTube, streaming live, the Rewind Sports 60. More coming up right after this short timeout.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout, so don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in. you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the man on the street, Marty-B, at Saranello's Restaurante Italiano. We're here every Saturday now. Brunch, you can always still come out to brunch, but we encourage you to come on out for the Sunday lunch, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to grab something to eat shortly here. And Fres Oquendo, the WBA Champion Contender, is in the house. We're going to talk with him in a matter of minutes here. But, Marty, it's good to be back.
It's great to be back.
Good
Jerry.
to be back. I got to wear
And I love the Saturday format. I really do. Yes, Mr. Riles here is going to take a little sip. Yeah. Well, this is dangerous, Jerry. You're giving me the microphone. I might not part with it.
No, I understand. I understand that. That's how it starts, Marty.
Yeah, and of course, a little later on in our program, we welcome back our soccer expert, the guru of soccer, Mr. Robert Rixer.
We're looking forward to it.
Oh, very, very definitely.
We've seen him. It certainly has been a while since we've seen him, and we're looking forward to talking with Robbie. And you know, Marty, I think your popularity is growing, no question about it, because you are the man on the street. No question about it. You are the man on the street. And people simply, when they tune in to the Rewind Sports 60, whether it's here at Saranello's or whether it's WCPT 820 AM or wherever the case may be, they look forward to Marty-B, the man on the street, to find out what's going on in their neck of the woods. Again, whether it's in Wheeling, whether it's in Arlington Heights, Schaumburg, whether it's in Chicago, Hyde Park, the Beverly area, Portage Park, wherever the case may be, Marty-B is the man on the street. And folks are looking forward to hearing what you have to say and share with them as far as what's going on community-wise in their respective areas.
Oh, well, thank you, Jerry. I'm very humbled by your comments, and we our intent is always to entertain, but I feel it's very important that we inform.
Oh, no question about it. And we want to inform you. Jason Zinner, our technical director, informed me that, Jerry, if you want people to follow, you want people to know what you're doing, you want people to know where you are, give them the website. All right, Jason, I'll give them the website. Our website is www.60.com. The Rewind Sports60.com. Check out our website. Go to our Facebook. Go to our YouTube page. Whatever, we're streaming live on YouTube right now, and check us out on WCPT820am.com. You can anywhere in the world you can check us out on our broadcast. So we want you to be a part of it. That's how you find us. And I do have to say, as far as events that are going on, because we have so much going on, Marty.
A plethora.
What did you say? What is that?
A plethora.
A plethora, as Marty-B says. We got so much going on. I got to share with this as well. Say hello to Jenny and Michael Chain and all the board members of the Monster Education Foundation. The Monster Education Foundation. Go to their website, monstereducationfoundation.org. Why? Because we're doing some great things over there. Yours truly is a board member of MEF, and our upcoming event is just around the corner. It's a week from today. That means next Saturday, September 14th, we're hosting our third annual Monster Education Foundation 5K Fun Run and Walk. Yes, indeed. Our third annual MEF 5K Fun Run and Walk right here in Wheeling, over at the Wheeling Park District at Heritage Park. Ladies and gentlemen, everything gets started at about 7 o'clock, 7:30 registration, 8 o'clock race time, 8:30 prizes, awards, and some refreshments, some food. So come on out. You still have time to register for the event. Again, go to the website, monstereducationfoundation.org. Register for the 5K event. Our goal is to get between 100 and 150 runners out there to support the foundation. Let me give you a little bit of background as far as the foundation is concerned.
Yeah, please do, Jerry.
The Monster Education Foundation has been in existence, I believe, and Jenny, forgive me, 5 years going on 6 years. And Jenny Chang is the president and founder of the organization. This organization was put together to support the children in the inner city and the impoverished neighborhoods and the bad neighborhoods of the city of Chicago. That, of course, is Inglewood on the south side and Austin community on the west side. As we well know, the rate of crime and violence that are taking place throughout the city of Chicago, but in particular those two respective neighborhoods. And so Jenny is a former educator, former teacher of her own, and she felt that it would be important to seek these diamonds in a rough. These kids who are working hard at school, but because of their community, because of their environment, it's, as you all know, it's very difficult for them to get from home to school and back just because of the violence that is taking place in their neighborhoods. And so she believed that these kids deserve an opportunity and not a chance to further their education and attend college if they have the skill set, if they have the mindset, and if they have the desire to reach that goal. And so she put together Monster Education Foundation. She recruited many of us to become board members, and now we're in our 5th year, going to our 6th year. We have approximately 25 scholars. They start in 6th grade, and they're recommended by their principals of their particular schools in those areas, and the principals say these are the students that we believe are diamonds in the rough. We only can take 4 a year at a 6th grade, and so they have to submit essays, they have to submit a video, and they have to tell us why they should be considered a scholar for Monster Education Foundation and what they can do to make changes in their communities. And they have to come up with a project, and that project has to continue from 6th grade all the way through high school graduation, and they have to grow it as much as possible. Let me tell you something. These scholars are phenomenal. We've had scholars that have packed lunches for the Chicago police officers in their neighborhood and presented these lunches to the police officers to say, thank you for patrolling our community. We know how hard it is. We know how tough it is. We want to show our appreciation. We've had one young lady that prepared meals for the homeless. Went out, I think, with her community, got between 100 and 300 bags of food to distribute to the homeless in her community. These are the sort of projects, these are the sort of things that these young scholars of Monster Education Foundation are doing to make a change in their community, starting in their home, starting at school, branching out to the community, and eventually making a major impact in the city of Chicago, Marty-B. So this race coming up on Saturday, September 14th, here in Wheeling, the 3rd annual Monster Education Foundation 5K Fun Run and Walk. Want you to be a part of it. Go to that website, monstereducationfoundation.org. Register, sign up. Our goal is to get between 100 and 150 runners showing up at Heritage Park next Saturday, September 14th, Marty. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, me too, Jerry, and you have certainly ignited my enthusiasm. I'm so grateful that you took the time to elaborate on this endeavor, because until you did, I had no idea what it encompassed.
No, you know what? And we just...
No idea.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and we're still growing, just like the Rewind Sports 60, they're growing and we're growing. And we just had our first graduating class, and we were able to present those 4 students. 2 of them eventually went off to college. One is Justin, he's actually at Illinois State down in Normal.
Oh, yeah, where Coach Weber is this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. And so we were able to present him a check, because the money that's raised from all these events and the project that these students put on, it goes into a pool and an account, and they accumulate over the years. And so we get this funding together and we present it to them once they have completed from 6th grade all the way to high school graduation. They present it with the check, and they could take it off to the university or the school that they choose, or selected, to go to. But it is fantastic.
Jerry, it is. Again, I had no idea what all this was involving.
Yeah.
I will be there next Saturday morning to help kick things off.
Thank you so much. And what it does, it just gives these kids, and it gives their family some hope. It gives them hope, because
they need hope.
Believe it, because a lot of these kids, not only just the scholars with Monster Education Foundation, but a lot of these kids in these tough neighborhoods feel that they have no voice and that there's no one listening to them, whether it's the political front, whether it's our mayor, whether it's the police force, whatever the case may be. They feel that no one is listening to them, so they just figure, hey, we can commit the crime, we can do this, and they don't care about going to jail or anything like that. They just go, hey, you know what? Nobody cares about us. Monster Education Foundation is changing that, and we want to make a major impact in the city of Chicago, one family at a time, one student at a time, one community at a time, Marty. And again, this fun run, it's going to benefit a lot for sure.
Oh, yeah, Sherry, that's what I've always admired about you so much. You're an You don't, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have an equal in this business when it comes to your enthusiasm and knowledge for sports. But you're so much more than sports. You're a man who has many interests and many passions.
You know what? Thank you so much, Marty, and I really, really appreciate that. And when you see some young kids who, kids just want to be kids. They want to be able to go out and play. One of our scholars, I told you, Justin, when we first started, he actually got beat up. Why? Because the kids in the neighborhood, he would go to school, come home. They felt that he was, they recognized he was different, but they felt that they could sense he was making a change in his life. They didn't like it, so they called him in the playground at the basketball court, beat him up, and he and his buddies had to run home. And he actually had some medical attention. I mean, he had to go to the hospital for some, I think it's busted eye socket. Yeah, it was, but it's because this kid is a bright kid, and he didn't want to stray away into the gangs or anything like that. The kids got envious of him, jealous of him, and they beat him down. And he stayed strong and continued through the process. And again, he graduated, and he's at Illinois State University. So those are just some of the stories that these kids go through, and they just want to be happy. They just want to be recognized. They want to be appreciated, and so Monster Education Foundation is giving them that hope. Marty, we got to take a break. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we not only talk sports, we talk entertainment. We tell you what's going on in and around the Chicagoland area. So keep it locked in. More sports conversation coming up. We're going to talk with Fres Oquendo, our good friend. He's going to be coming up shortly. But before that, I do want to get into the Bears conversation a little bit more before we move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked in. We're broadcasting from Saranello's Restaurant there at Tailgate, right here in the heart of Wheeling. We're back at home at Saranello's on Saturdays, every Saturday, lunchtime from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. This is the place to be. College football in the air, food is in the air, and the Rewind Sports 60 is in the air. Keep it locked in. You've got the Rewind.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
The Rewind Sports 60, broadcasting from Saranello's Restaurante, is brought to you by the Liquor Barn. They are friends of the program. From beers to spirits and champagne, the Liquor Barn is your libation destination for parties, banquets, weddings, and more. And don't forget to mark your calendars for the annual Wine Fest this fall. The Liquor Barn is located on the corner of Dundee and Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling, 287 East Dundee Road, and their Niles location is 8170 West Gulf Road. Feel free to drop by and say hello, and always remember to drink responsibly.
Welcome back, folks. Jerry Riles, Marty-B, the man on the street, broadcasting, streaming live on YouTube from the world's famous Saranello's Ristorante Italiano right here in Wheeling. Come on out. We're here every Saturday. We're doing a Sunday brunch, but we're now here every Saturday. We want you to come on out, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., noon to 2. Come on out, have some lunch. You can see the folks mingling behind us, but we want more of you to come on out and mingle behind us. You remember us here for the Sunday brunch, and boy, was that something special. Our Chef Derek McIntyre usually have his carving station here. Every Sunday he does. Come on out for the Sunday brunch, but definitely start coming on out for lunch as well. You can watch the Buckeyes, by the way. Buckeyes on the monitor. They're beating Cincinnati 28-0 at the Horseshoe in Columbus. Go Bucks! Marty.
And earlier, I didn't hear much, but Army got off to a quick 7-0 lead over Michigan.
Very, very, very good. I got my Buckeye.
I love those cadets.
I got my Buckeye. Ty, can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You got it, Jason? Go Bucks! Go Bucks!
I've got a cute comment for you later about your Buckeyes.
Sounds good. But let's get back to the Bears real quick before we switch gears. And again, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Spread the word. It'll be posted up on Facebook. Follow us at WCPT 8:20 a.m. every Sunday, 6 to 7 p.m. The Bears lost to the Green Bay Packers 10-3, as we stated over at the lakefront. They weren't shaking the lake on the lakefront this past Thursday, were they, Marty?
Not at all. Not at all.
The fans, man, I think they wanted to shake Nagy and Trubisky, shake them up a little bit because they were not happy. But you talked about it a couple of segments before that the Bears, they have to wait 10 days now for their second game. They have to wait 10 days for their second game. And then not only
they
that,
got work to do too, Jerry.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do, but they got to go to Denver to take on Vic Fangio and his defense. And if you know Amos with the Green Bay Packers knew some of the plays that the Bears were setting up, you know Vic Fangio and his defense are ready to go.
Well, I guarantee you one thing, and I don't follow pro football as much as you do, but isn't that great defensive player on the Denver team, Von Miller?
Yeah.
Every bit as good as Khalil Mack. I think, in my humble opinion.
No, that's
He's a great player.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to stymie Von Miller the way the Packers seem to have control over Khalil Mack.
Well, I mean, Khalil Mack didn't have the type of game that he normally had, but he was able to get in there, put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And again, that front four defense, Akeem Hicks and company, they did a pretty good job. Now, Akeem Hicks got away with what could have been a late hit or unnecessary roughness on Aaron Rodgers. For whatever reason, the officials did not throw the flag on.
That's right, they didn't. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Extremely surprised.
I mean, it surprised a lot of people because the rules are put into place to protect the quarterback, and he was all over Aaron Rodgers, so that was kind of surprising. But this Bear team, they're going to have to adjust to the atmosphere. There's no question about it. And that's going to be tough because what Vic Fangio and the Denver Broncos are going to do, Marty, because they're used to the atmosphere. They're used to working out up there. They're used to playing. So they're going to run a lot of plays, no huddle. They're gonna have the Bears guessing and confused, but also, as they say, sucking up wind. And that may be something that is not to the advantage of the Chicago Bears.
That's it. And they're playing in the Mile High City where, sometimes you have to take time to catch your breath.
Exactly.
Jerry, I'd like to go back again. I can remember years back when I had my season tickets to the Bear games back in the old Soldiers Field. Boy, the exhibition games were exciting. You look forward to them. The starters played a little bit. My God, you really get into things. Now, oh my gosh, these players need time. They need to take some hits. I'm sorry. Injuries are going to happen. Let's go back. It probably won't. I'd love to go back to the old days when at least they played a little bit, got their timing down.
Well, you know what? That was a lot of that was part of the slant against Matt Nagy that he didn't play any of his starters during the preseason.
Come on.
And you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady played, Drew Brees played, Cam Newton played, Mahomes played, Deshaun Watson played. I mean, these are guys that play because why? You have to get. It's one thing going up against your peers, and the Bears have arguably one of the top 3 defenses in the league. So I understand Mitchell Trubisky having to face them in practice. I get that, but there's no substitute for the real live action.
Timing.
And even though it's preseason, you got to put that guy in there. You got to put him in there, see some live actions against another opponent, and have him take, 20, 30 snaps or something of that nature just to get the game feel reaction so that he could be prepared. This guy, Mitchell Trubisky, was terrible. And for the game plan for Matt Nagy to go into this game and to have this kid drop back 55 times throwing the Bear receivers and only running a rock a handful of times, that's ridiculous.
Oh, I concur. I don't understand it. I regard Matt as such a creative innovator, but the game plan was so generic.
It was more than generic. It was terrible. It was terrible, Marty. You and I know we've done this before, in the sand lot. You draw up a play in the dirt and you say, okay, Johnny, you go over there. Mikey, you go over there. Timmy, you go down there. And you make the play work. We could have drawn up a better game plan than what Matt Nagy did. Are you kidding me?
I think we could have, Jerry. I really do.
Let me tell you something.
Surprised.
There's no way for Mitchell Trubisky to drop back and throw the ball 55 times. Now, granted, the Bears have a very good receiving core. They have a depth of receivers and a very good receiving core. But this guy is not the second coming of Johnny Unitas. He's not Bart Starr. May he rest in peace. He is not Brett Favre. He's not even Bob Avellini.
Oh, I agree. I think eventually the Bears are probably going to settle into a routine where they just want him to be a good game manager. I don't think the spectacular, the off-the-charts type things, I really don't think we're ever going to see that with Mitch. If he can just be a good manager of the game, I'll be happy.
We all will be happy, but it's unfortunate as you move up one spot to take him second overall, you expect more from this guy.
Yeah,
you expect more from him, Marty, and, he, as best he could be, is average.
Well, Jerry, too, back in the day, too, and I don't mean to keep reflecting here, but
No, I want you to.
But back in the day, Jerry, you drafted a quarterback. He walked around with his clipboard for a couple of seasons. He learned in practice. He was around starters. We expect so much, I think, way too soon out of these players.
No,
No, there are exceptions like McCombs and a couple of others. There are exceptions, granted. But for the vast majority, they need some time to develop.
yeah, well, you know what?
I would have loved to have seen us had a really experienced quarterback playing a lot for a couple of years and let him kind of, work into the system.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The unfortunate thing is, and also, as we talked about, is with the preseason games, the unfortunate situation or the way the climate is today, it's all money driven. And so if you're making, I think Mitchell Trubisky got a $30 million signing bonus. So when you're talking about paying players that type of money, we know what Cody Whitehair just signed for in his extension. That's a lot of money on the table. And so you understand to protect the player, you don't want them to get hurt because the owners and the franchise has paid all this money out. But the other thing is, Marty, those days are gone as far as drafting a quarterback or drafting any player. But quarterback in particular, having them sit on the sideline to study for, a couple years before he gets out there. Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the last few quarterbacks who did that. As you well know, he had to sit behind Brett Favre, and he was patient. And that's one thing I admire about Aaron Rodgers. He was very patient. Brett Favre was had nothing to do with him because it's like, hey, I don't want to show you how to take my job away from me. That's understandable. That's competition. But Aaron Rodgers had the hat on, had the clipboard, and he's walking around, and he's taking the crap from Brett Favre. And once he got his opportunity, arguably one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the National Football League.
And just recently I heard that there were some youngsters on the West Coast where he went to high school that didn't have football equipment, didn't have helmets, and he just donated a whole slew of things.
Wow.
I like that about Aaron.
You know what? Despite the fact that he plays with that team up north, we do. I mean, you got to give him credit because he's a gentleman. He's a true professional, and he's a winner. He's a winner, and they want. Keep in mind, the Bears only gave up 10 points against the Aaron Rodgers football team. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. But we got Denver coming up, and then Washington, and then we come back home on the 29th to host the Minnesota Vikings, and then go out to Oakland to take on John Gruden and Antonio Brown and the Oakland Raiders before we have our bye week, folks. But I think it's going to be a long season for the Chicago Bears, but we'll be here every step of the way. Saranello's Ristorante Italiano every Saturday from 12 p.m. noon to 2 p.m. And, of course, on Sundays, the Bears Sunday Live, WCPT 820 a.m., 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Lock it in. And, again, coming up on Tuesday and every Tuesday throughout the football season for the Chicago Bears, a meet and greet a current or former Chicago Bear player, right here at Saranello's restaurant. It gets started this Tuesday, September 10th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Come on out. Eddie Pinero, the kicker, the only man to score for the Chicago Bears in their debut in that loss to the Green Bay Packers, 10-3, 38-yard field goal. He'll be in the house. Eddie Pinero, come on out. Make your reservations. This is the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, the man on the street, Marty-B. When we come back, Fres Oquendo, a good friend of the program, is in the house. We'll get a chance to chat with him and catch up to see what's going on in his world. Keep it locked in. This is the Rewind Sports 60, broadcasting from the world's famous Saranello's Ristorante Italiano right here in the heart of Wheeling. Lock it in.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in. You're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rewind Sports 60. We're streaming live on YouTube, broadcasting from the world's famous Saranello's Ristorante Italiano right here in the heart of Wheeling. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, and I'm pleased to be joined and welcomed by a good friend of the program. I love this guy, Fres Oquendo, WBA, I'm going to say champion, contender.
That's right.
Chicago product.
That's right.
Out of Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes.
Welcome, brother. How are you?
Oh, great. It's always great being on your show, and thank you for having me again, my man.
No. It's always a pleasure to invite you out when you can come out and be a part and just catch us up with what's going on in your world. You're a busy man. Your foundation is doing wonderful things. We know what's going on with Hurricane Dorian right now, but for you, your foundation, you guys got involved with Maria a couple of years back and the devastation that hit Puerto Rico, and there's still, to this day, there are a lot of families out there who are in need. There are parts of Puerto Rico, the island, where the tourist attraction is still somewhat intact, no question about it. People are still paying a visit, but the inlands, the mainlands, as far as Puerto Rico is concerned, there's a lot of damage, and there's still a lot of work needed to be done, and your foundation is doing a heck of a job. Catch us up with what's going on.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. Yes, we ended up bringing over 1,000 water filtration systems because the water in Puerto Rico is very, very bad. I partnered up with one of the iconic sports figures in Puerto Rico, Tito Trinidad. He's a dear personal friend of mine. His father was my trainer when I turned professional in Puerto Rico. And yes, we went over there and serviced a lot of families as many as we can. We can't save the whole country or the world, but I try to, And also we partner up with Feeding America, Illinois Food Bank. They were able to give us a lot of food to donate to the cause, and also the Boston Red Sox. They're the one helped me, with the traveling of all the water filtration. They were able to, import it all the way to Puerto Rico, and I think the manager Cora, who's also Puerto Rican, that make that happen.
Really?
Yes, that's correct. And man, it's great things. And I got my foundation. We started the school year, over 100 kids, boys and girls, more girls than boys, believe it or not. It's doing great, and the community is getting a lot better.
That's good. What is the pulse, so to speak, or the emotion of the people in Puerto Rico? Because I've talked to several residents over the past year or so, and they said the devastation was devastating, but their spirits are in the right place, and they know it's going to take a lot of work, despite the fact that our government's not really lending too much of a hand to try to support the people that's going on. But what's the spirit like of the individuals, the people that are in Puerto Rico to save their land, so to speak?
Well, you know how we are. We're very prideful, got a lot of heart. We overcame a lot in our history, and it's sad that, like you said, our government here in this great country, the administration is not doing too well of a job to assist us in this current hurricane in the Bahamas, where I feel very bad for the people out there, and I have very good friends, Bahamians, and it's sad that, they're going through what they're going through, and yeah, just hoping, people have a bigger heart and, lend a hand. That's so important because, I was going through that. To this day, I'm still helping all the evacuees from Puerto Rico. Like I said, one of them is one of the iconic sports figures, Wilfredo Benitez. He's the youngest boxing champion in history at the age of 17. And, I had the pleasure with my partner, Louis Martel, and my foundation, Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy, to help him bring his family here to Chicago to get better health care, and I'm happy he's doing a lot better.
No, it's good. I'm glad that you were able to step in and support and help out and continue to do the job that you are doing with your foundation to help those, because at the end of the day, and we're on with Fres Oquendo, WBA champion, in my book, contender definitely, and humanitarian for sure, but in my book, Fres, at the end of the day, we're all one people, right? Yes. We may be from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, different parts of a neighborhood, different nationalities, different backgrounds, but the God that I serve, we're all one, and it takes, as they say, a village, and I think everyone needs to do their part, and you, no question about it, are doing your part to help your fellow man. And I think you do that. You mentioned what you're doing here in the city with your foundation, helping the younger kids. I talked about Monster Education Foundation, what we're doing. Share with our audience, our listeners and our viewers on YouTube, what Fres Oquendo Foundation is doing locally here in the Chicagoland area.
Yes, we're servicing over 3 high schools and a big grammar school. We partner up with Aspira, charter schools, Chicago Public Schools. I'm very thankful for them to give me the opportunity to partner up and service the community where I grew up at, the Avondale area, Albany Park, just to name a few areas that the schools are located, and all the aldermen that's from that ward has been very, very supportive to my foundation. And it's a great thing, seeing all these kids, these girls, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. Majority of them are girls that love the sport. The sweet science gives them a lot of discipline. In the high schools, have a lot of bad home kids that are going through little things, but the sports give them a lot of discipline, and to get all that aggressive energy and put it into positive energy by doing boxing.
You know what? And that's great because we touched on it. The kids that we serve through Monster Education Foundation, they're looking for role models. They're looking for adults to look up to. They're looking for people to show them the way. And with these communities in particular, you talked about your communities, Albany, whatever the location may be. We're talking about kids in Inglewood. We're talking about kids in Austin, and they, reluctantly, a lot of these kids fall to the wayside because there's no opportunities there for them. So what you're doing with your foundation, you're absolutely right. You're giving them something to cling on to, and you're right when you say that you're taking some negative energy and turning it to positive energy, and this is something that's going to stay with these kids forever. They're going to remember this impact that you're making through your foundation in their lives.
Yes, that's very, very true. There were several kids that's also going to be at my Building Champions benefit that are thanking me so much because they didn't have no one to speak to, to vent out to, and they could relate to me because I was one of those kids growing up in one of the harshest Chicago housing projects in Lathrop Homes by Cabrini Green. And, boxing saved my life. If it wasn't for boxing, I could have been, doing drugs and gangs and, joining gangs and all that stuff. And my foundation, thanks to my father, Batan Oquendo, who gave me that energy, that push. God bless his soul. He passed away a year ago this week. And, we're... This week? Yes, a year ago this week, my dad just passed away last year, weeks away from my championship fight that I was supposed to have in Germany. And as you all know, it's all over ESPN, all over social media. My last 3 opponents all tested positive for steroids, so that's why I could, honor you for telling me that I'm the champion, because that's what the World Boxing Association, WBA, should do. Crown me by default because it's not my fault. I trained half a decade of my career has been taken away because of these cheaters. And that's another thing, I'm like the poster child of, a black guy in boxing because all these fighters always try to get an even playing field in boxing, and that's the bad thing to do in the sport. And that's why I'm the poster child and doing what's right. So my future, champions up and coming, I can advise them to make sure they do the right thing and get tested and don't let these cheaters get their advantage. Yeah,
you know what? Very well said, and you're absolutely right. You should not be penalized because your opponents all tested positive. Yes. I mean, that's because if that's the case, then you're never really going to get the opportunity. You're never going to get the opportunity. Exactly. I like to call you like the Frank Thomas of boxing, because Frank Thomas, he did it the right way, and
yes.
and I love all these players, whether it's Mark McGuire, whether it's Sammy Sosa, whether it's what's our boy? It's slipping my name, Barry Bonds, yes. Right? I mean, I love those guys, I really do, and they were impressive, and they carried the game when they did. But as you talked about, they dabbled.
Yes.
Frank Thomas did not dabble. He did it the right way, and you're doing it the right way as well. So you shouldn't be penalized for that.
Exactly. Frank Thomas, I've met him several times, a good friend of mine, and yes, that's why he's a champion, even though he didn't play in the game. But hey, it's not his fault. Like you say, he stayed clean. He was part of the team, and yeah, he should be considered champion. Like myself, I'm the mandatory for the last half a decade. At my advanced age, it's just sad that the sport, it's a black guy that. They keep having these opponents, lined up for me, and then again, they all fail weeks before the fight, the drug test. So the World Boxing Association, they should be put on notice and do the right thing, and and declare me champion by default, because it's not my fault that I'm training and doing the right thing. And now I have to go to court just to get my money. I have to sue them to court. September 24th is my due day, and God willing, I get the decision, which I should be. It's clear that the guy was tested positive steroids, and these other promoters, unfortunately, these other couple of promoters like the Bobby Hicks, John Wirt, they against me, who I'm from Chicago, which they shouldn't be and should be for me, but they're all, in cahoots with the Germans to try to take my championship away, which September 24th is my federal trial date, which the WBA has put on notice, and, we're going to get justice, and I want everybody to hear that, because, enough is enough. We got to clean up the sport, We had the Don Kings and all that, and I've been through the Don Kings, and, I was one of those fighters that he took advantage, just like the Mike Tyson, Tim Witherspoon, just to name a few of many. So, it just, being right, doing the right thing to the athletes, us that we sacrifice, our whole life, away from families for many, many months, and not to do the right thing is just injustice, and I'll be having that September 24th, God willing, at federal court.
Well, you know what? Thank you for sharing that with our audience. You certainly have our support, Fres, and you deserve every penny of it, no question about it, because you're a good man, you're an upstanding citizen, and you're giving back to the community, man, and that's what it's all about. We know the ups and downs as far as the pro sport of boxing is concerned, and the things that have been taking place. As you mentioned, you talked about Don King back in the day, and I mean, we know about all the antics and everything that's been going on, but you've done it the right way, and you deserve your day in court, as they say. So God bless you. You have our support, and if there's anything else that we can do for you, to get the word out, we certainly will do that. Before we let you go, Fres Oquendo, the champion, WBA, here in the city of Chicago, or worldwide, ladies and gentlemen, right here at Saranello's Ristorante Italiano in Wheeling. Come on out. We're here every Saturday noon from 12 to 2 p.m. Tell us about the event you got coming up, Building Champions, real quick.
Yes, we're having a great event, Building Champions benefit. It's like I said, serving all these underserved communities in the Chicagoland area, and it's just a great thing to do for the community. Like I said, we got my foundation. My foundation, works with kids all in the Chicagoland area, partnered up with the Aspida Charter Schools, Chicago Public Schools, and again, I thank everyone, and I always encourage everyone to come to this great event. It's at Road 24, address. It's 2411 South Michigan Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. It's going to be a chick event, real great event. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be great entertainment. A lot of sports figures will be there. A couple of my iconic, sports figures that I grew up with watching in high school, like Craig Hodges, three-point champion before Steph Curry. He was the Steph Curry before all that was gone. He played against Del Curry, Steph Curry's father, and all that good stuff. So they'll be joining us, hopefully Kendall Gill, David Diaz, world former champion, my stablemate as a youth. And, man, we're going to have, many, many more champions. Hopefully Tito Trinidad will be flying in town. My countryman that we did a lot of work for Coupe Alto, where he's from. I donated, hundreds of water filtration and feed the community with Feeding America. And, man, it's going to be a great event. You all don't want to miss it. So tune in, September 27th at Road 24, 2411 South Michigan Avenue. And also, I'd like to give shout-outs to my in-kind sponsors, my community sponsors, Jordan's Food and this, Jordan's Food of Distinction, Road 24, of course, Soul Prime Entertainment, Cuba 312, good people, Municipal Bar, my man, and also El Fuego, the Mexican authentic restaurant, Gennaro, great food, Papa Cache, Humboldt Park, La Burucana, where my father, used to bring me as a child to eat, and they'll be there. And also Nestle Toll House Cookies will be there for the nice desserts. And also Rose's Bakery has been in the community for over decades. 1912 around there, was servicing the nice little cakes, even my cakes when I was a kid. To my kids, they're serving the birthday cakes and all that. There will all be, in-kind sponsors that will be donating that night at the event. And also my main sponsors, Emory Performance Minerals, also Chicago Weight Loss, and also Aspida Charter Schools, who always partner up. They're always supporting FOBA, Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy, and also Jesus Davila, dear, sponsor of this great academy with the hurricane relief efforts, what I greatly appreciate, all of us. And also the Davi Group, LLC, they'll be there, with us rocking. And also U.S. Direct Marketing Company, they just joined in to sponsor this great event. So please, you don't want to miss. We're going to have all this nice catering of great food and entertainment, the vanillas, art, great entertainment we'll have that night. at the Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy. Be there or be square.
Be there or be square. Fres Oquendo, the Boxing Academy, building champions. Come on out. Again, he said Friday, September 27th, Road 24. That's 2411 South Michigan Avenue in the greatest city in the world, Chicago, Illinois. If you want to get tickets, just go to www.fobaintl.org. That's fobaintl.org. Sign up. How much are the tickets?
A generous donation, be like $100. But again, we're having 7 restaurants, one of the greatest restaurants in the city of Chicago. We're going to have pastries, entertainment, art. We're going to have nice graffiti art. We're going to have nice violinists doing the great music, entertainment. A lot of sports specialties will be in play in boxing. So it's going to be worth every dime donation of this great entertainment from 6 to 10. You cannot miss it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be off the chain. You're going to be talking about this for many years. Especially we got our host, Leon Rogers, my main man from back in the days, who interviewed me after my Holyfield fight. Like the world know I did my thing with him and got me a big name after that great performance. And I thank you, Jerry, for spreading the good word.
Thank you, man, for being the good word. Folks, when we come back, after all this food from this event, ladies and gentlemen, building champions, after all this food, we're going to have to work out. Yours truly is going to find out how to work out and where to work out. We want you to learn as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fastest 2 hours in sports conversation, broadcasting live on YouTube from the world's famous Saranello's Ristorante Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling. Keep it locked in. This is the Rewind Sports 60.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout, so don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
This portion of the Rewind Sports 60, broadcasting from Saranello's Ristorante, is brought to you by the Liquor Barn. They are friends of the program. From beers to spirits and champagne, the Liquor Barn is your libation destination for parties, banquets, weddings, and more. And don't forget to mark your calendars for the annual Wine Fest this fall. The Liquor Barn is located on the corner of Dundee and Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling, 287 East Dundee Road, and their Niles location is 8170 West Golf Road. Feel free to drop by and say hello, and always remember to drink responsibly.